Hello, and welcome to the Nola Daoist podcast. As you know, my name is Chris Martino, and this is episode 16. Oh, I spilled a little tea. Let's wipe that up. Cool. So, welcome back. Got me a little bit of Rooibos and tumeric today. Tumeric being anti-inflammatory. Rooibos is good for the soul. Nice hot tea. Yum, 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 yum. So, this week, we're going to talk about Qigong. I'm going to give a small definition of it and various things. We're going to talk about verse 16 of the Tao Te Ching. I'll get my phone here. And then we're going to talk about a little free flow, of course. And yeah, what else is there besides letting things flow as they are? No better way than to go with harmony, the Tao. Harmony, literally, the way. Anyway, so let's jump into it. So Qigong. Some people, I've heard definitions of Qigong as Qi being energy or breath, Gong being work. So Qigong literally being energetic work or breath work, right? There's a lot more to that, depending what you do and how you want to do it. There are tons of Qigong systems out there. But the question is, what do you want to foster or facilitate or grow or create or become out of doing Qigong? So there are different types of Qigong. Some type of Qigong will make your blood and energy and everything go up. Some will make it go down. Literally, if you have low blood pressure, you can raise it with Qigong. Literally, if you have high blood pressure, you can lower it with Qigong. So all of this sounds really crazy, but let's just talk about Qi a little bit. So there's a connection between Qi and the blood. So in internal arts, Taoism, many things, they talk about yin and yang, okay? So there's yin, which is the structure, the base. Then there's yang, which is the function, the action, what's going on, what's happening, the thinking, yeah? So to give you like a polar extreme, yin being the body, yang being like the mind of thinking and doing, right? So, but the structure sets the stage for the yang. I was actually talking about that earlier this week. So when you think about Qigong, right, when we talk about Qi alone, it has correlation to blood. So blood is the yin, the structure. Qi is the yang, the function. So where the mind goes, the Qi goes. Where the Qi goes, the blood goes, right? So by putting my mind in my shoulder, Qi will start to go there. Blood will start to go there. And where you don't put your mind, then the blood won't go and the Qi won't go. A good example of that is you cut your finger and it's bleeding, yeah, and it hurts and you feel the pain. And the old dad's joke says, well, put your hand out, and they flick your thumb or they hit you with a hammer somewhere in your thumb, and then you forget about your pinky, right? Or they pull your ear, yeah? The point is the distraction, putting your mind into your thumb. Now you don't think about the bleeding in your pinky, you think about the pain in your thumb, right? So, or you're having a pain doing something, and then you can have a physical pain in your body, and but while you're working, let's say you got a physical job, you're a server, and you're pouring water and grabbing plates and doing all these things, and you're thinking about like how you got to do this and who you got to talk to, and and you don't feel the pain, and then you get home and you stop and you sit, and then the heel of your right foot hurts, and it just pounds and it hurts because your mind is going, all your function, your energy, your chi is going to your brain. So your brain's thinking about doing this, doing that, whatever, and it's not settled down into your body to feel your right heel and how it hurts and the pain that's giving you. So chi and blood, where chi goes, blood goes. So where the mind goes, chi goes. Where chi goes, blood goes. Yeah. So if chi is always going up, blood's always going up, high blood pressure. Chi's always going down, blood's always going down, low blood pressure. It's a little bit like that, right? So anyway, it's not exactly how it works, but there's a similarity there. I don't know why I'm saying that. Anyway, that sounds crazy. I'm definitely a little bit tired right now. Let me have another sip of tea here. That's delicious. Oh, yes. But real thing, where your mind goes, your chi goes, where your chi goes, your blood goes. And our brain's one of the biggest wasters that there are. So anyway, but then there's the creative element of it, of what you do with your mind, which then affects what you do with your blood. Well, your chi and then your blood. So lots of things you can do with qigong, and people use qigong. You know, lots of remedies. In fact, there are hospitals in China where people use qigong to heal people from all types of issues, physical body issues, emotional issues, mental issues, lots of things. Let's have some more tea. Oh, that's delicious. Oh, yes. So anyway, depending on the system of qigong, there's something called, famous in the Shaolin world, Ba Jing, and it means 8 treasures brocade. And it's like a health system, and it moves the chi through and around your body and stretches the fascia and the tendons and ligaments in a certain fashion, in a little bit of a softer way, but it takes a little work. And it makes you healthy because it moves the blood through your body, working the nervous system, regulating the fluids, allowing everything to breathe and circulate in and out, open and close. It keeps you healthy. Last week we talked about stagnation. So stagnation is nothing happening. Nothing. No growth, no change, no evolve, no wave, no nothing. Yeah. So it keeps everything moving and flowing and going and healthy. Then there's something called I Ching Jing, muscle tendon changing classic, which I practice I Ching Jing. I have an I Ching Jing form system. And this makes your muscles strong, makes your tendons strong. It's a hard style of qigong. You still move and you still have a certain level of flexibility to it, but it's a power type of qigong. Makes you strong, yeah. It's not easy, yeah. You have to work up to it. You should do something like Ba Jing first, and then I Ching Jing. In fact, Ba Jing comes from I Ching Jing. Ba Jing is like a softer version of I Ching Jing, yeah. Some of the movements are a little easier, not as much power involved. It's a softness of breath, but still running through the meridians and throughout the entirety of the body, opening the joints, etc., etc. Oh, let's have some more tea. This tea is really good. I like Rooibos. Huge fan of Rooibos. So anyway, and then there's like Shi Shui Jing, which is blood marrow cleansing. So it's a form of qigong that works specifically with the blood and the bone marrow. the blood going through the bone marrow, yeah. So it's a deeper level of Qigong, takes longer, etc. Yeah, other genes a little more superficial, Yujin Jing also tending a little deeper, and then Qixing Jing very deep, yeah. So, but all of these, let's call them exercises, you use your body and your mind and your breath in a harmony in order to move the qi and the blood through. So your body, breath, and mind comes together for a purpose to do a specific thing. Whereas most of the time in the world, our brains are going everywhere, but our bodies aren't doing anything. Or our body's going everywhere and our brains aren't doing anything. They're not working. Or our bodies and our brains are going everywhere, but our breath is still not doing anything, not working, not alive, not functioning, not flowing. Yeah. Or our breath is doing everything. We have tons of emotions, but nothing's happening in our brain, nothing's happening in our body. So there's an imbalance, yeah. So you take the three and harmonize them, put them for a specific purpose. So qi, meaning breath, gong is work. Now, let's talk about body, breath, mind. So the qi is the breath, right? But qi, a really good definition here, actually stemming from Neil Andrew, a drunken boxing practitioner, really good. He says that qi is the relationship between the body and the mind. And I really enjoyed that definition. So yeah, I'm talking, but yet I'm using my body to do something. So I'm continuing to talk and tell you about these things that Neil Andrew said as I poured tea. That's a lot happening at once, as opposed to if I just stopped talking, poured my tea, drank my tea. Yeah. Yes, tea. Anyway, so when you look at that definition, getting into the breath and to the breath work helps you make this connection between your body and your mind and see what's really going on. Is my body tight? Is it loose? Soft and open? Is my body closed or is my body open? Same thing in my mind. Is my mind closed or is it open? Yeah. Is my mind hard? No, it's this, it's that, like one way. Nothing else, won't budge. This has to happen or end of the world. Or is my body soft and open? And says, well, if it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, it doesn't. Cool. I wanted to go to the mall, but I didn't have a ride, but I got a ride to the movies, so I'm going to go to the movies. I still have to do something entertaining. I want to do something entertaining anyway. Cool, I went to the movies. Yeah. And let's have some more tea on that note. So, Qigong, this relationship between the body and the mind. I really, really like that definition. I find it very accurate. As you get into the breath more and more, you can feel the relationship between the body and the mind. Like I said, there are lots of Qigong systems, and they have different purposes. There are Qigong systems for cancer. Oh, did I just say that? Whoa, what a crazy statement, right? Oh, we don't do that. You can't cure cancer. That's impossible. Can't get rid of cancer. Oh, well, people have been doing it for longer periods of time than we think. Anyway, yeah, I'm kind of poking fun, but it's real. There's a lot of things in the West that we say are incurable diseases. That's bullshit. Smoke screen. One more time. Smoke screen, bullshit in your face. Anyway, this shit doesn't happen overnight. Things don't happen overnight. And, I mean, some things do. But something serious, long-term illness doesn't happen overnight. Long-term breathing issues don't happen overnight, which means they're not going to get fixed quite overnight. But you can do things, can help them, can get rid of them. Depends on your belief. But anyway, who am I? What do I know, right? So, talking about things with Qigong, you can doing breath work. There are healing systems for Qigong. There's Qigong to make you just get things moving. There's Qigong to make you strong. There's hard style Qigongs. There's softer style Qigongs. When you do something like Tai Chi, it's good Tai Chi. Then there's Qigong in it, and there's Neigong, and there's Shengong. If it's a good system of Tai Chi, it's going to work your body, breath, and mind. External, internal, mental, spiritual. Yeah. But not all Tai Chi is really good, or maybe the teacher doesn't know. There are a lot of people just moving their bodies and attempting. There's no linkage, continuity of motion. There's no connection, no power, no flow, nothing there. Anyway, so different Qigong systems. Qigong's been being performed for thousands of years, so people literally have developed methods for all types of different health issues with Qigong, right? And I find that there are some people that just practice Qigong for enjoyment, and it makes them feel good, yeah. But a lot of people practice for a health reason. They have some issue, and it solves that issue. A lot of times people practice a system, and it's a whole rounded thing, and that solves their issue. But they don't exactly know why, or maybe they do know, oh, this part heals this part heals that, whatever. Maybe they know, maybe they don't know. A lot of people do it, and they just do it because they know it works, and they're content with that. Not everybody's looking for the knowledge, and that's cool. Some people are looking for the knowledge, and that's cool too. So anyway, that's all I'm going to talk about Qigong today. Qigong's a whole world of things. Just like there's Wagong physical exercises, you get into regular push-ups, and then you got wide grip push-ups, and then you got diamonds, and then you got fingertips, and then you got what they call a planche, where you're up on an object and you lift your body up and shoot your feet out and then come back down. So it's a whole Qigong is a whole world of things, just like the fitness thing. You can isolate a specific muscle, a specific tendon, all these specific things that you can isolate depending on what you want to do out of Qigong. It's a whole world, a whole science, literally, that they've been tweaking and working on for thousands of years. But that's mostly over in the East. It's newer in the US, yeah. Anyway, so on we go. Let me have another sip of tea first. Oh, that's good. Oh, that's really good. That's so good. I'm going to have a bit more. You'll just have to bear with me for a minute. If you don't mind, please and thank you. Yes. So, verse 16, Tao Te Ching. We discussed last week about the Tao Te Ching. Yes, okay. Verse 16. Seek to attain an open mind, the summit of vacuity. Seek to attain an open mind, the summit of vacuity. Summit being maximum. Boosters, vacuity, vacuum, right? When your mind opens up, it takes in. When it closes down, it pushes out. So open your mind, right? Seek to attain an open mind, vacuum of vacuity. And things just come to me, right? I had a friend online, the other Nola, Daoist, check him out, phenomenal dude. He was talking about how there's no such thing as like intellectual property, no one owns it. He was explaining how multiple people in different parts of the world have come up with the same idea at the same time frame. So it's not that one can really own it over the other. No such thing as intellectual property, because information is there. It's just do we tap into it or not. So someone who's a doctor, a healer, whatever term you want to give them, they're going to spend time thinking, meditating, one form, about how to heal people and how to improve their healing methods and how to get that better, or doctor, how to heal those patients faster and in a healthier fashion, a cheaper fashion, or whatever fashion, right? As you do this knowledge just comes into your brain. You have an epiphany. Oh, you know what? Hey, what if I did this? And then you try it, and then it works. And you go, hey, look, I had this thought I would try this, and then I did it, and it worked good. So then you publish it, show it to the world. Hey, look, this works really good when this. I've done 300 cases of a person with high blood pressure. I showed them this Qigong method, and it lowered their blood pressure, all 300, every single time. Or I did 1,000, and it worked for 959 of the 1,000. Because there's going to be those few people that just they're the anomaly, right? But anyway, or perhaps the high blood pressure wasn't the issue, or it's stemming from something else. Anyway, I digress. So, seek to attain an open mind, the summit of acuity. When you open your mind to things, whatever you're thinking about, your mind's open to it, stuff just pops in your brain. And look, there are people who have discovered things. Albert Einstein, Nikola Tesla, Alexander Graham Bell, all these people, they were thinking on something constantly, day in and day out, sometimes hours a day, on something they wanted to do or achieve, and it came to them. And then they shared it with the world. Neither the world liked it and it caught on, or they didn't, and it didn't caught on. But then we reinvent the wheel 300 years later, and we think we're like, certain people think they're geniuses when they reinvent something, but this technology's been out for hundreds of years. It just didn't catch on. Yeah. So, like I saw a video the other day. It was on, I don't know, Facebook, Instagram, something. It was showing 1959, I think it was, what they call the fifth wheel. And the car had a tire in the back of it. Like, this is the car. The car had a tire in the back of the car. When you went to parallel park, if there was a car here and a car here, the tire would drop down, and then the car could swivel in easier, right? It would back up, right? Come up a little bit, and then boom, easier to park, right? So this fifth wheel allowed them to park their car easier, but it just didn't catch on, so it didn't become a modern thing. Maybe it was too good. Maybe they would have lost money on cars hitting other cars trying to park. Insurance rates down. Insurance industry lost money. Maybe. Who knows? Anyway, let's have some more tea on that note. All right, next line. Seek composure, the essence of tranquility. Yeah, beautiful statement. So, when I'm strung out, let's say I don't make all the money I need to pay my bills, so I have to work 2 jobs. And then by working 2 jobs, we'll have less time to cook and eat right and maintain my health and do all these things that make me who I am, get proper sleep, make me a healthy, functioning individual in the world. So I'm strung out, I'm spread out for time, I'm spread out for energy because I'm worried and anxious. Am I going to make enough money to pay my bills? And I got to hustle. I'm always living the hustling life. And which then affects me sleeping. I have a hard time sleeping because my mind won't shut up because I can't go to sleep. All these things are spread out. But let's say I make $1 million a year and I only cost me $100K to live a year. Make $1 million, cost me $100K. So now I have an excess of money, $900K. I can do whatever the fuck I want with. I can invest it. I can blow it. I can save it. Whatever, right? So let's say I got 100K. I mean, I need 100K to live. I make $1 million. So I invest 300K of it, brings me a return of another 400K. So now I took my 1 million and brought it up to 1,400K. Cool. And then I spend the rest of it however I want. So, and I work this job, and this job I only work roughly 40 hours a week. Let's go big. Let's call it 50. I work 50 hours a week on this job. So why am I saying 8? Anyway, 24 hours in a day. So we take 24 times 7. It's 168 hours in a week. And now I use up 50 on my work. That's 118 hours left. Cool. So I'm going to sleep 8 hours a day. 8 times 7 is 56. So I'm going to take another 56 hours. Give me 62 hours of leisure time to do whatever I want. Divide that by 7. That's going to give me around 8 hours a day. Leisure time to do whatever I want. And you're going to have your normal chores. You're going to cook, clean, whatever. Or you can pay somebody to do it. But let's say I don't want to pay anybody. I just do it myself. So it takes me a couple hours a day to do those things. And then I got 5 hours free. So I got 5 hours of free time a day to cultivate whatever I want to cultivate. My body, my breath, my mind, however I want it. I want to dedicate it to learning about Qigong, or I want to dedicate it to building a stronger body, or I want to dedicate it to solving world hunger, or whatever I want to do. Okay? So I got finances, I got rest, I got energy because I got rest and finances, and I got finances and I'm not worried. Yeah. And I let's say I do a little meditation, so I know how to balance out my mind and I don't have all these crazy concerns. Okay. So now I have my energy, I have my body, I have my breath, I have my mind, I have money, and I have time, which is very important because we're struggling for time and energy in the world. Let's have some more tea. So I have all these things. Now I'm from a place where I am composed. I don't have to do anything. Everything's good. I can just do whatever I want to do. Now I can relax. I can be tranquil because I don't feel this need to, I gotta live, gotta survive, right? I'm comfortable. I'm good. I'm set. Now I can relax and go about my day, relax and do whatever I want to do. And let's say something happens with my job and I lose my job. Cool. Or I don't like something someone does in my job. I can move from a position of piss off because I got all this money in the bank, which gives me time, which means I can go get another job. And I probably have a good skill set for making $1 million a year, where I can go find another job in that same industry or another type of job, something that will bring me in a very similar amount of money. So anyway, this term socioeconomic. But it's a real thing because that's a big, right now the economy is not the best, let's just be honest. And so that's definitely a struggle for a lot of the world. So seek composure, the essence of tranquility. Absolutely, being composed creates a tranquility. I'll allude this to fighting because, again, I've been doing martial arts for a long time. So a new guy, he's nervous because he just learned a technique and he knows how to punch like this, and he knows a punch can come over here and over here and over here. And, well, he can kick me, and he's nervous because a foot can come some kind of way, right? Cool. But an experienced veteran has confidence in what he does, and he's going to sit and wait and pick the holes on the other guy and run a clinic on him. Excuse me. Whereas the newbie, he's going to get nervous and concerned because he's afraid of what's about to happen to him, and he's not confident in what's going on. He's not composed. He's too worried about all of the other hands and feet and where they're coming from. Let's take it out of the condition of new versus experience. Two fighters. One guy's throwing combos, 3-8 shots. The other guy's trying to block that. Well, you might block one, you might block two, but by the third one, you're getting hit. Anywhere from 3 to 8, then you're just scattered because you don't know if they're coming foot, hand, where it's coming from, how it's coming. Being as the guy that's throwing them, he's composed because he's already got the combo lined up in his brain. Oh, I'm going to jab, I'm going to hook, then I'm going to throw a front kick. I'm going to front kick, jab, throw a hook, then I'm going to drop an elbow in on the other side because that's going to make his head go this way and boom, 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 right? He's coming from a place of composure. He is solidified. All right, next. All things are in process, rising and returning. I love that because it's that continuum that the Tao talks about. That is the Tao. All things are in process. That means that literally all things are happening all the time, rising and returning. So I always talk about, and I think I referenced it last podcast, how in the West we think we're just going to like shoot up like this. That's so unpractical. And if you put it to a linear model, it looks more like this. We kind of go up and go forward. But even that's not as practical as the model they use in the East, which I love, which is that of a spiral. If you're A, then you go B, then you go C, then you go D, then you go deeper in A, then B, then C, then D, then A, then B, then C, then D, right? So you think you advanced through whatever A was, but you actually return to it. And then you go up to B. And you think you advanced to B, but you actually, going through A again, get back to B. You return to it. Rising and returning. Next line says, plants come to blossom, but only to return to the root. That's funny. Makes me actually think about these little flowers by my house. So I like to walk the block quite frequently. And I discovered these little beautiful, joyous yellow flowers. But they only bloom in the evening, like in the night, like under the moon. Once the sun's gone, then they can come out like later in the evening. But if you walk during the day, noon, and the sun's out and bright, the yellow flowers like this. Sometimes you can't even see them because they're so closed up and like drawn back into the earth. And then at night they come out and then boom, they blossom. They're just these joyous, beautiful yellow flowers. So this says, returning to the root is like seeking tranquility. So this yellow flower is a flower that blooms at night, which means that it soaks up its essence and energy through the night. And then it returns during the sun. Now, when this flower closes, it's closed off to all the chaos of the world during the day. And then at night, when it's not nice and quiet, the flower blooms and opens up, and it's open to what's there is peace and tranquility. And when it's closed down, closed from the chaos of the world, it's peaceful and tranquil inside of itself. It is moving towards its destiny. So I'm just going to read through from top to where I'm at now. Seek to attain open mind, the summit of vacuity. Seek composure, the essence of tranquility. All things are in process, rising and returning. Returning to the root is like seeking tranquility, is moving towards its destiny. That's so funny because the Tao and the internal arts, meditation, Baoist, Tai Chi, all these things, they center you in different ways sometimes, but you're centered nonetheless. And one of the biggest things that I love about the internal arts is it's not just a martial art. It's not just about fighting. There is a fighting aspect there. Clearly, I mean, you can see through people like Wang Shijing, Hung Yishan, that were fighters. And Huang Shijing was a big guy, big fat belly, but he was known to do hundreds of matches, physical fighting matches, and some of them to the death. Yeah. So you look at this, yeah, and like there are a lot of like systems, let's say karate and taekwondo and whatever, and not to say that people who get to the source of them don't have this experience, but most of these, especially westernized American martial arts that just are there for the purpose of money, they teach you punch, they teach you kick, they say this is how you block, and we're going to do some exercises and make you feel kind of good, get your lungs going, make your body feel kind of strong, and we're going to make you think that you're protected because we're going to teach you these punches and kicks and some blocks, and most of them going to give you a real experience of like what it's actually like to be in a fight, or put you under the gun in like a stressful, serious situation that you could actually have real self-protection abilities, but people think that they do, and they have no idea they couldn't beat their way out of a wet paper bag. Anyway, I digress. Most of these systems are just on the physical, the body, and that it's not on the energetics, and none of it's on the spiritual cultivation. And not all, but a lot of internal art practitioners and practices, the source of what they're doing is about their spiritual cultivation. To move toward destiny. It is moving towards its destiny, right? So when you get to this level of spiritual cultivation, part of the process is stripping away of the old and the things that you don't need and the things that aren't you, the things you learn through societal programming, through familial programming, through workplace programming, yeah. And it gets to the source of you as a being and who and what you are, and your individual soul, yeah. And you're moving towards your destiny, which is a beautiful thing. To move toward destiny is like eternity. To know eternity is enlightenment. Oh, what a beautiful line. To move toward destiny is like eternity. To know eternity is enlightenment. To move toward destiny is like eternity. That's funny because literally before I finished my last statement, I was going to say that working on your destiny or shedding away is like an eternal process. It's like it never ends. Because how I am now at, let's say, an individual of 10 years old versus how they are at 20 years old versus how they're at 30-year-old, they're going to feel physically different in their body, the amounts of energy and reserves they have. They're going to think differently. They're going to have different interests and morals and beliefs, because that's even going to change, especially if they're a really evolving individual. Then their morals and belief systems and principles on how they live their life is going to change. When they're 10 and 15 and 20, they might be wanting to fight and be this strong young buck. And by the time they get to 30 and 40, they might be looking on, well, how do I stay healthy and active? And then when they get to 50 and 60 or 70, then they might be thinking more, how do I just be a really good person and like evolving in this way? And some people attain that at a younger age. Your age doesn't mean you're going to get something at a specific age. It's just there are patterns in the world how most people go along. Doesn't mean everyone does that. So to move toward destiny is like eternity. Moving toward your destiny, it's a little bit of an ever-changing thing. So it's eternal. To know eternity is enlightenment. Eternity is empty. There's nothing there, but you're content. Being where you're supposed to be, when you're supposed to be, how you're supposed to be, is blissful. That doesn't mean that the human experience always feels great, but that means that you have a bliss and understanding and knowing that whatever this human experience is, pleasurable or non-pleasurable, is going towards your growth and expansion towards what you should be and where you should be and how you should be. Because we're perfect as we are. That's a certain way to put it. And not to recognize eternity brings disorder and evil. So knowing eternity makes one comprehensive. And not to recognize eternity brings disorder and evil. Knowing eternity makes one comprehensive. So when you don't recognize that there's an eternity, you only seek the pleasures of the world. Sex, money, power, all these things, yeah? And I'm not saying they're bad things, but like all things, in moderation, yeah? And it's not always about having it, sometimes about what you do with it, yeah? Why are you having sex with another individual? For carnal, flesh, physical release? because you think they're attractive and other people think they're attractive and you want to say you got the catch, look what I got, right? Look what I've been with. Are you sleeping with someone because you want something they have, finances? Are you sleeping with someone because they're supporting you or they're like a parent figure to you? Or are you sleeping with someone because you're in deep, immense, joyful, pleasurable love with them? You love their soul. You appreciate them as a being for who and what they are. Not because they did something, not because they make X amount of money, not because they aesthetically look this way, but your soul enjoys their soul, and their soul enjoys your soul. Yeah. And that changes the game a whole lot. Knowing eternity makes one comprehensive. So comprehensive is building on things and kind of like an overall view of seeing all the, like you have this and then this and then this and then this, and then you see how they all stack up and build up, right? So knowing eternity makes one comprehensive. So making me comprehensive, knowing eternity, I can look back and say I went through these awful miserable experiences that molded me into the person I am today, that created these character traits that helped me get by in the world, that make me a joyous, happy person, and bring me ease because of this experience I've already had, even though the experience as I had and went through it was just this awful, miserable, not fun time. But out of that not fun time, I grew. And now I'm appreciative and grateful and thankful for that experience because I've grown from it. Comprehension makes one broad-minded. Literally what I was just saying. Actually, I was having a conversation with a coworker the other day about this. We were talking about body shapes and sizes, and I was talking about how I've been not really overly fat, but a little belly. And then I got like kind of muscular, and then I got really skinny and muscular, and then I got bigger, bulkier, muscular, and then I got fat, and then I got still bigger frame, but then again toned and muscular, but a rounded shape instead of a squared shape, or a V shape, more of a rounded shape, but still strong and muscular. And I was talking with my friend saying how being in these different shapes in my body and how my energy was held and how I could use it opened my mind in a certain way that had different perspectives of thinking and functioning. And I was explaining how it's an advantage. The small guy thinks like this and he's going to bounce around, move around, da, 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 da. The bigger guy's going to stay more still and then choose to make a little more specific moves and more powerful. Like let's say the analogy of fighting, right? He might swing less often and a little bit slower, but if he hits you, oh, it's a big problem. Whereas a small guy, he can bounce around like a little ping pong ball and can hit you 20 times, but it's less powerful. But because it's so fast, it can create a power and he can hit you 8 times before you can blink. Still effective. You hit somebody in the right places, it doesn't take a lot of power or energy or effort or speed for that matter. But, and you hit someone hard enough, it only takes that one shot. KO, you're out. So anyway, having these different perspectives, that allows me to sometimes function like a small guy, sometimes function like a big guy, sometimes function like a lazy fat guy, right? And my mind thinks differently. How I would execute the same task has a different size and shape. And it's created a understanding of how other people around me think and function based off their body shape and size, right? Small, really fit guy who's fast might go run back to the kitchen and get an item and pop back before anything happens. Big fat guy might go, hey, you, Phil, small, skinny guy, can you go to the kitchen and get this for me? Or, hey, you got to get this because I need it for that. He's going to stay centered, where he's at and not want to move. Skinny guy's going to be like, nah, I'll do it myself. I'm not going to ask someone else. Boom, go get it and come back. That doesn't mean that everybody thinks that way. I'm just giving an example, yeah? So it broadened my perspective. Breadth of vision brings nobility. Breadth of vision brings nobility. So my vision is to be the best fighter I can be. Okay? I don't care what I got to do that. If I got to beat the crap out of somebody else, I'll beat the crap out of somebody else. Wanting to make other people the best fighter that they can be. Well, I don't want to hurt them because if they get hurt, then they can't fight. So I'm going to be a little more noble in the way that I fight with them and teach them to fight. Instead of beating the crap out of them, like what if I was working on myself and it'd be easy to beat somebody up, I just beat the crap out of them. Instead, I'll choose to build them up and show them how to stay safe when they fight and train. Yeah. And then breadth of vision brings nobility. Now I want to train not just others, but masses of people. Well, then I need a person under me who I train how to fight really well, who he can train a few people, and then they can go and train a few people, and now I have a lineage. Nobility is like heaven. Yeah. Taking the high ground, doing the nice thing is like heaven. Being noble is like heaven. I'm going to have a sip of tea. Let's get a little bit more in my cup. Here we go. Cool. Nobility is like heaven. Yeah, because what goes out must come back. Doing good to and for others can bring good back your way. Tao is the eternal. The heavenly is like Tao. Yes, because taking the low road, you can get stuck in mud. I got to do this, and I'm going to do this way, and I don't care what I got to do it to get there. I got to beat you, I got to rob you, whatever. Sometimes you get caught up in things, doing bad things, caught up in bad. But taking the high road, no, I'm not going to rob you. I'm going to work a little more and make some more money. And then knows what it means like to not have money. And then I treat people better who don't have money. So it allows me to blend and flow, taking the high road. The heavenly is like Tao. Tao is the eternal. So the Tao, this goes in the next sentence I was going to say. The heavenly is like Tao. And Tao is just a wavering line. And you can't really put it in the words, but I try to give you an illusion. Tao is like this wavering line. Sometimes you're more yin, sometimes you're more yang. Sometimes you're good, sometimes you're bad, right? Everyone's got their own definitions of good and bad, and then when you say something's good, you automatically create a definition of what's bad. If you say something's bad, you automatically create a definition of what's good by the opposition of the bad thing. Tao is the eternal. Eternity is not really good or bad. It's like somewhere right in the middle. It's emptiness. It's never ending. You can go deeper and deeper and deeper. You can go wider and wider and wider. You can go higher and higher and higher. You can go thinner and thinner and thinner. There's no end. decay of the body is not to be feared. I love that line. So everyone has different beliefs and opinions. Some people believe in reincarnation, some people don't. Some people believe in, astral projection, spiritual realms, and some people don't. I'm not going to comment on that. But the decay of the body is not to be feared. I heard on a podcast the other day. This lady, she was a martial artist. She did Vietnamese jiu-jitsu. And she said, when the body quits, and I'm surmising, of course, it may not be an exact quote, but she says, when the body quits, the mind takes over. And the mind quits, then the soul takes over. And I love that because the decay of the body is not to be feared, because the decaying of the body is the first step towards the mind opening. And then the mind decaying is the first step of the soul opening. So it's really amazing because some people can live their whole life and never get in touch with their soul, who and what they really are. They chase the worldly things and then they're never satisfied, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And whatever, they're obsessed with aesthetics and they're always working out. There's nothing wrong with working out or chasing, or being fit. Nothing wrong with making money. I'm not saying any of those things by no means. So please don't interpret it that way, because I know some people might. Please don't. But being obsessed and getting caught up, and then these types of things, that's where one might say becomes problematic. So anyway, I really love that. The decay of the body is not to be feared. It's not. And by the way, at one point we weren't born, and then we were born. And at one point we're all part of the human experience, going to die. We're going to pass on. How you pass on, well, who's to say? Are you going to be a monk that dissolves into light? Or are you going to be an alcoholic that, drinks himself to death? I don't know. You're going to drown? Are you going to pass peacefully in your sleep? I don't know. It's not in. I don't know your cards. And with that, I conclude episode 16, Gong.